Hello and welcome to a plant haul video. So as you can see, there are many new plants that I've got. I had a recent visit to a nursery right around the corner, and I will actually link them also. They have amazing plants, house plants, outdoor plants, landscaping plants, and they do a whole lot of things including baking cakes. So that's pretty interesting. So I went there. I happened to go there because I was actually not feeling quite good, and it was to improve my mood. And I went there and I didn't think I'll be shopping. I specifically went to buy a cover pot, just one cover pot, but I came back with 8 plants and here they are. I want to take you all through all the plants and talk about them. There are begonias, there are alocasias, there are anthuriums, pothos, monsteras, and there are some repeat plants as well. There are a couple of plants which I got earlier, which I showed here and there, but I haven't really shown them properly or spoken about them, so I'll include them as well. So let's start with it. But if you're new here, thank you so much for joining me. I make houseplant videos. I have about more than 300 videos now, and I hope you watch them all. And thank you so much for deciding to watch this video. It means a lot to me. And if you're returning here from some other video of mine, that means even a lot more to me that you came back to join on another one. So thank you so much. Let's get into it. Okay, so the very first set of plants I want to talk about are begonias. I finally found some really cool begonias. I have loved begonias always, and of course Begonia maculata was my first begonia, and for a while it did very well. And during one of my visits where I left all my plants for about 11 days, I lost my begonia. They're very gentle, sensitive plants, and they need care all around the time, so that's why it didn't survive. But here I have some really nice begonias that I found. Let's go one by one with them actually. So I'm going to start with this begonia here, which is actually the angel wing begonia. It is a type of Begonia maculata, but of course it's not the polka dotted one. What I have understood from my research and Google search is that this is an angel wing begonia. I love the red backs. So the backside is also very interesting, as you can see. Love the colors on the back. This leaf of course is on its way out. It wasn't like this when I got it, but it's been a few days, like 2-3 days, and it is an older leaf, so it's going out. But I love the shape on all of these. Just look at all the edges and the pattern of the silver splashes. It looks beautiful. There are some new leaves coming as well inside. There are a few growth points too here on the top and inside, so that's pretty good. There is some damage, of course, while bringing the plant back. A few of the buds broke. This is in a net pot, as you can see very clearly. So I asked the seller if I need to kind of remove that, but he advised not to do anything right now. He says that the plant is well established. The roots are already out into the soil, so I don't need to do anything right now. Also, as you can see, it is kind of in a normal soil mix, but he advises to just let it be, which is what I'm going to be doing. I did keep this in my cabinet for maximum humidity and temperature control and lighting, because I do have very little light in my house. So let's see how this one's going to be, just for kind of documenting its journey. This is the size of it. So we will observe in a few weeks or months how the plant is doing. Moving on to my Rex begonias. So these are both Rex begonias. This one's a hybrid, I believe. This one's called a Rex begonia, and I just love the silvery leaves with these bordered leaves and these pink metallic splashes. The most beautiful thing about this plant is the metallic sheen it has, like an iridescent kind of a sheen. Definitely you won't be able to make it out in the video, but I would highly advise you to get this plant in your collection if you have good conditions. It's definitely worth getting this plant. I love the color of the stems. It's like nice and red. And look at the backs. The back sides are so pretty as well. They've got the vein pattern. It's almost like a tie and dye effect. I love it. And from here the leaves look green, but from the front they look silvery green. So very pretty. Love the shine on them. Maybe I'll try and insert a close-up of it separately, or maybe you can see it from here. So I love this plant. I did have a version of Rex Begonia earlier. Didn't know anything about its care and control, the conditions, and it didn't do well. It didn't make it through. I did put it in a poly bag. Nothing worked. I suffocated the plant. This is the other one. I do believe this one's called Begonia Rex Blue Silver, if I'm not wrong. They're too many begonias. There are too many varieties of begonias, so very difficult to find out. But from my search, I figured this one is called a blue silver. It's got these really nice, slightly bluish borders, if you can see. In all the leaves, it has these edges, purpley in fact, like they look kind of purple and blue. And look at the whole leaf, it's just so silver. And it's got these little hairy things on it. Oh my god, I didn't notice that until now. But they've got these little kind of thorns on the leaves. Again, I'll try and insert a macro video maybe later for you to see, but it's got these kind of thorns all over the leaves. It's got hairy backs. Look at the back. The back looks so beautiful as well. I think begonias, if they kind of take off in the conditions or the environment you have, they are really, really rewarding, really satisfying plants. Imagine 5-6 of these plants together in a pot, how bushy and beautiful it's gonna look. So totally love these. The good thing and the reason why I still got them one more time despite begonias not working for me in the past is that they're very cheap. I got them for very little money, so it was a steal. I got them for very, very low prices. So I just picked them up to try my hand at them. So all of these actually cost me the same amount, and that's pretty cool. So those are the begonias now in my collection. Moving on to my alocasias. So there's a repeat alocasia here. I love that alocasia, and you guys will know from my channel if you've been watching videos, but that has to be my alocasia black velvet. I got one more. I have one right now, and I've had many in the past, but they didn't do well, and there's only one single leaf alocasia, which is my original plant, which is in the cabinet. So I thought it'd be good to get another one, especially because I got it again for a very good price. So there are, if you can see, there are 4 shoots in it. There are 4 different plants, and I got it for a very good price. They are quite well established, I would say. And again, this is kind of in a regular to aeroid kind of a soil, so in the future we'll see, but right now the idea is not to disturb anything. I'm just going to keep it the way it is, just let it establish in room conditions this time. I think I'm going to keep this one out. I won't really keep it in the cabinet, also because there's no space. And this one, I've always wanted this. This is my Alocasia bambino, if I'm not wrong. There are so many terms for this type of alocasias because there are different varieties, which is bambino, poly, African mask, sanders. So there are quite a few which look similar but are very different. So this one's a bambino arrow. These leaves are more narrower, they're more pointed like an arrow shape, compared to poly, which has kind of these very pronounced edges. So I will try and insert a picture here so you can see the difference. This again is in a sort of a aeroid soil, but more of regular soil mixed in it. But again, I am not going to do anything, just going to leave it like that, let it establish in room conditions. Look at the backs. So my favorite thing about alocasias are the backs as well. I love the backside of all the leaves of all the alocasias. So I think I'm definitely an alocasia person first, and then maybe some other, I don't know, not even begonia, but maybe Anthurium next. But yeah, so I love my alocasias. Again, this has 2 shoots, and that's why I got this specific pot, and I am letting it be. In fact, I've been using this alocasia like a little decor piece for my center table where I keep it throughout the day. I'm not really giving it any type of a separate care or condition or any special treatment right now. I'm just letting it be. Of course, my main goal would be to eventually put them in the cabinet so they do get the right humidity, because the humidity in my room is very, very low. but we'll see. I'm still figuring out where can I keep these plants. The next one, I think we will do this. Again, it's a repeat plant. So I got 2 repeat plants, which is Alocasia Black Velvet and a Monstera Thai Constellation. I love finally the piece of this plant that I've got. Very recently, I showed one more Thaicon which I bought. I bought it from the same nursery, but it was a smaller size, and I do have it here. I'll show it in a bit. But let's give this plant a little moment. Look at the beautiful leaves. I finally managed to pick a plant which has some decent sized leaves and lots of leaves. In fact, if you see at the bottom here, there are way too many leaves, starting from the smaller most to how it progressed, and then finally we have more leaves. There's a half moon leaf here and another one. So at the moment it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think it has about 14 leaves of all different sizes, starting from the smallest one to the biggest one, and I love it. I love this plant. And this is the one which I was talking about. I got this one from the same nursery a while ago, just keeping it a bit far away because it has and had spider mites, a really bad one. I did put it on the stories. But look at this new leaf. So this is the newest leaf. It has pushed out. It is still hardening up. I am keeping it out separately from other plants, a bit away from my other plants, not like isolated, but nearby, because I'm treating it still. I'm regularly giving it a spider mites treatment, a spray solution. So I found this leaf, this fairy leaf, completely covered in spider mites, webs and spider mites and red spider mites, but this one seems to be fine. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm happy to have a backup plant which is like a more mature plant. Again, this is the type of soil it has come in, which is like a nursery soil but aeroid. It's got good roots. It's all coming out. Again, I am not gonna touch the plant. I'm not gonna get into repotting or anything. I just wanted to start establishing in my home. That's all I want for my plants. I don't want to experiment with this new set of plants at all, because that kind of leads to trauma and I end up losing them. So that's that. I have 2 more plants left from this collection, and then 2 more plants which I have not yet shown. So here is my next one. This is my Anthurium clarinervium. So yes, this one's a bit sad looking right now. It just been, I mean, this was the only piece in the nursery and I really wanted it because it came at a very, very low price. I think they got the tag wrong. It says Hoya, and it's actually priced like a Hoya plant, but it's Anthurium clarinervium, which you, for this kind of a size of the stems, that typically costs a lot more than what this plant did. But why I got it is it has 2 plants. If you see, it's got 2 kind of shoots. There's a new leaf coming in, so it just makes for a good purchase in that sense, I feel, because I can sort of work on it. Again, the soil, like I said, for most of the plants is a nursery aeroid mix. Could be more fluffier, lighter, airier and all that, but this is what it is in. I am thinking that today will be the day I take out my crystallinum out of the cabinet and put this guy inside, because this deserves and needs some special care. It's got a bit of pest issue for sure, so maybe I will first clean it up and maybe I'll take a day. There is some webbing here, something like a mealy thing on the back, so maybe there's merit in first cleaning it up properly, thoroughly, and then I will put it in the cabinet. And moving on to my last plant from this very haul, and something I've always wanted, it's my Cebu Blue, my Pothos Cebu Blue. I finally have it, and they had about 3 different Cebu Blues that day, and there was some which were more matured also, but I kind of like this one. It has started getting fenestrations in some of the leaves. So there's one leaf here, There are leaves on this side as well here. So it has a couple of leaves which have the fenestrations, and so one more, I believe. There are a couple of more. One is here inside, one is here, but I just like this plant for the way it is. It's got this three vines right now which are hanging, so, and it's pretty bushier on top. I just like the top of it, like this whole cascading thing, so it will look really pretty. It does look a bit lightish green than typically these plants are, but I guess that's how they over time they mature and they change the coloring a bit more and the amount of lighting. So typically this is the type of color actually is what this plant is supposed to have. So these are all newer leaves, more younger leaves, and that's why they are slightly lighter, and actually on camera it's looking a bit lighter than it does in real life. So yeah, I love this, love my cebu blue. So yep, so that's how it is today. We will keep a track of it. I did spend a bit more than all of the other plants on this one, but totally worth it. So this and the Monstera Tycon were a bit more expensive than the other ones, but all in all, I actually got an amazing deal for all these 8 plants. Now on to showing you 2 other plants which I got from my one-day getaway in between. So that's my bunny cactus. Is that what it's called? Bunny ears. So I have always wanted this as well, and this also I think has a bit of a mealy issue. If you guys know how to fix that on this, do let me know. So this is the yellow bunny ears cactus. There is a white one as well. They had both. I picked the yellow one because it just looks more interesting. The contrast of green and yellow looks really nice. It is still in the nursery pot that I got it in. I just placed it in this little container for now, but the idea is to have it in a very nice pot so that I can have a very cute looking setup. But I think before that I need to just treat this, and I will read up about it. I'm not too sure about cactuses. I don't know how to take care of them, specific ones, so I'll need to be doing a bit of a research on this. And I want to show you one last plant, and that is my string of pearls. I finally got a string of pearls, and it was flowering. It had this beautiful flower, which I think I put a reel on this or a YouTube short on this. But so I got this plant from my trip as well, from the local nursery there. So what a find. It's quite a find, to be able to get this plant, because you don't really find them so easily. And again, this is in this same kind of a plastic nursery bag, and I've just put it in this container because I wanted to put it in the cabinet immediately. I'm so bad with string of plants. Like, my string of hearts is there, which also I'll show maybe, and I think it's doing fine. I watered it once so far, and these feel pretty nice and firm. So it's got a couple of strings. It's quite bushy on the top. So that's on this one. Again, I'm very new with this plant, so don't know much of the care procedures, but I will learn as I go if it survives. Let me show you my string of hearts as well. So here is my string of hearts, variegated. I think this is the variegated. Yeah, this is the variegated one, but of course the colors change basis your care and conditioning and lighting. This side feels a bit like a regular string of hearts, but it's the same plant which has these variegated leaves as well. You can see it's kind of curling up right now, and that's probably because this is again in a net pot. There is a net bag inside. I'll try and show it if I can. So yeah, so you see this little fuzzy thing, it's in a net pot, and I know it's suffocating it right now, but I just didn't want to touch it because I have killed so many of string of hearts in the past in trying to repot it, so I just let it be. I've just left it completely alone. I just water it when I feel that it's dried up, and it's been in my greenhouse cabinet. All of this is new growth since the time I got it, but I think it's doing decently, at least to my knowledge. So some of the leaves on top are pretty firm, nice and thick and big in size. Difficult to show, but yeah, it's doing well. I'm just gonna hang it back in the cabinet and come. Okay, so these are all the plants we saw today. I've got them back here arranged again, but these are the new plants in my collection, my new haul, and I'm so happy after a long time. Happy because, of course, I didn't have to spend too much on these plants because I'm experimenting with a lot of them again, and I do not have space for them. I need to figure out where will I be putting them up, and I want to use some of them, especially like my Cebu blue, for more like a decoration or a look to create a good aesthetic in my house. And even the Alocasias this time, I don't want to kind of have a goal with them to grow them bushier or whatever. I just want them to add a little touch of rare tropical forestry jungle vibes in my home. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And thank you so much if you watched this video. I hope you enjoyed watching the new plants, and do stay tuned in for my other videos where I will be giving constant updates. I think an update video is long overdue, so I will be doing that very soon. So I hope you stick around to watch that, and I will see you next time. Bye.